All right, Miss Ken, go ahead and tell us who you have here today.
Good morning, everyone. And I know, kids, you're always on your best behavior, and that's why we love coming to your school virtually. So my name is Mrs. Ken, and I'm the coordinator for the students. And today we have with us two wonderful students named Emma and Patricia. Named Emma and Nora. And they are with the College of Medicine Public Health Interest Group. And they're going to lead a fantastic lesson today. So Nora and Emma, can you get started? Thank you so much.
Sure thing. Let me just share my screen real quick.
Okay, hi guys, I'm Emma. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Today we're talking about deep breathing and stress. So this is going to be a little participatory, so feel free to unmute and talk when I ask you to. Do you guys define stress? Does anyone have a time when they feel stressed? What do you feel like? I know when I'm stressed, it might be about a test I have coming up, or does anyone ever have anything like that?
I have stress.
Yeah. Is it a good
And I
feeling?
feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's a good one. Does anyone else? It's a normal feeling, so.
Getting shots.
That's a good one. Yeah, shots can be scary. Don't like those, although they're good for you, so. Okay. Nora, maybe next one.
Can I say something?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm stressed whenever like something bad happens, like to something I love.
Yeah, that's a good one. That can be stressful. So we define stress as being emotional and physical response to something that's overwhelming. So exactly what one of you guys said. I didn't catch your name, sorry. But there's kind of a difference between acute and chronic stress. Does anyone know what acute versus chronic is?
I do.
Go ahead. What is it?
So acute means like, let's say you just get, I don't know, a boo-boo. That's acute pain.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get chronic, that's gonna be like breaking a bone or something.
Yeah.
So basically, I think it's going to be like it's just normal stress for acute, and chronic is like near depression or depression, I think.
That's a really good answer. So acute is like right when it's happening, it's short term, like say you have a test or something, or like you said, a boo-boo, but it'll go away soon. Chronic is like it keeps going for a long time, and it can be bad if it keeps going for too long because your body starts to do things that are not good for you. So stress is a normal reaction, but it can be controlled, and that's what we're going to talk about. Breathing is a way to control stress. And then we put that little joke in. Okay, so then the basis of stress, we can all participate in answering these questions. Where do you guys think stress comes from? And then we kind of talked about what stressed you out, but what do you think the reason is?
I think stress could be when you like take a test or something that makes you scared or something.
Yeah, so scared is a good point there. Does anyone else have anything? Okay, so do you have anything that you can feel in your body? Like what does stress make you feel like? Sometimes you get a little sweaty or your heart might race. You might just not.
Cry?
Oh, go ahead.
Maybe you cry?
Yeah, you could cry. Your tummy might feel a little upset or weird. Does anyone know how stress could be good for you?
No.
No?
Maybe it could help you overcome something.
That's a really good point.
I see it says stress is good at keeping us alive.
Yeah. Well, you read ahead there. Good job. So stress has been like, we've evolved to be stressed because in high stakes situations, like when we used to be hunter gatherer people, if you're getting hunted, stress is good because your heart rate goes up, you can run faster, your senses become, oh, go ahead.
So basically your body, when you're stressed, your body starts the fight or flight system.
That's exactly
Basically, like
right.
when your palms are sweating when you know are talking to your crush.
Yeah,
Palms get
your
really
body reacts.
right,
Exactly.
and you get stressed, and you either want to run or you want to fight that fear because your body thinks you're being hunted.
That was a super good answer. Yeah. So that's kind of like an acute reaction to stress, but if that goes on for a long time, like the chronic thing that we were talking about before, that can be bad for your body if your heart rate's always high or you're always feeling anxious or stressed in your tummy. It's not always a good thing.
Okay, so I'm going to take over for a second. I'm Nora. And we're going to talk a little bit about how stress works in the body, why we feel the things we feel when we're stressed. And just building off of what Emma said, stress is an evolutionary adaptation. It is important for us to feel stressed because stress is what would have kept us alive. Now it just can keep us focused. Like if you aren't stressed about a test, maybe you won't study as much and maybe you won't do as well. But too much stress or too much stress for too long can be incapacitating. It can keep you from doing well. It can keep you from doing the things you want to do. And we're going to talk a little bit about why. Can I please just ask that if you aren't talking, if you could mute your microphone? That would be wonderful. Also, if I ask a question, no need to raise your hand. I don't always see it. Just blurt out the answer. But if you could mute yourself now, that would be wonderful. Or I will.
You muted yourself.
Sorry, I'm muted. When we talk about stress, we're going to talk about the nervous system. And there are two main divisions of our nervous system. There's the central nervous system, which is our brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, which is everything else. And that peripheral nervous system feeds into the central nervous system. And part of that peripheral nervous system is something called the autonomic nervous system. And this is the basis for fight or flight, which is what one of your very smart fellow students just mentioned. Now, the other thing about it is that it's two-sided. There's fight or flight, which is what happens when you're stressed, which is what we're talking about now. And then there's rest and digest, which is what happens when you aren't stressed, when you're calm. So the sympathetic nervous system, you can think about it like it's being sympathetic, like it knows you're stressed and it wants to help. That works out when that happens when you're stressed, and that creates that feeling in your body of stress. Parasympathetic is what manages rest and digest, which we're going to talk about a little bit more later, and that can help both calm you down and work to get rid of those effects of stress once you are calm. So again, stress is a response to perceived threat or danger. And so your body is going to kick it into high gear to try to get you to safety. And that's that fight or flight. So your pupils are going to dilate in your eyes. It wants to let more light in so you can see better. Your heart rate's going to speed up so you can pump more blood, get more oxygen. Your digestion will stop because when you are in a high pressure scenario, you do not need to be wasting energy in your body on digestion. And all this kind of happens through the sympathetic nervous system. There's also adrenaline produced, which I wrote also, it is known as epinephrine. They're the exact same thing. It just depends on whether or not you live in the UK or America. And that, if you ever feel like stressed and you feel shaky a little bit, that's that adrenaline. Does anyone have any questions? I know that I just threw a whole bunch of terminology at you guys. If not, I'll move on. We good? Okay. So what we just talked about, that can be true of acute stress, but that can also be true of long-term stress. And long-term stress can have some pretty serious health effects. So according to the Mayo Clinic, which is a big hospital that does a lot of research, chronic stress can put you at a higher risk of developing the following health issues: anxiety, depression, digestive problems, headaches, heart disease, sleep problems, weight gain, memory and concentration impairment. And so as we can see, these are a lot of different things. This is not just, oh, stress will make you do XYZ one thing. Chronic long-term stress, we see that it can have an effect on the whole body and make us at a higher risk for a whole lot of things. And so we need to ask ourselves, yes, short-term stress is good, but how do we keep ourselves from having that long-term stress? How do we manage it? And that is what we're going to talk about now.
All right, I'm back. So we're gonna kind of ask you guys, what do you do about being stressed? Do you have any techniques that you use? Anything like that?
I take deep breaths.
Great answer. Now you know where we're going with the rest of this. Does anyone else practice any other things? Sometimes I like to do something that I think is relaxing. I like to bake, so I'll do that. Or maybe I'll take my dog for a walk or go hang out with some friends, which is a little hard with COVID. Go ahead, Gabe, sorry.
Go to sleep.
Sleep is a good one. Yeah.
Maybe think about something else.
Yeah, think about something else. Think about something that makes you happy.
Looks like
When I'm stressed,
What?
I like to squeeze the stress ball, which is this thing.
Stress ball. Yeah, that's a good one. That's
Or
exactly
I like to imagine waterfalls.
That's a good thought. Those are happy. Okay, those were all great ideas. And then whoever was speaking first, I can't remember who it was, but they mentioned breathing. So deep breathing is a really good method to calm down if you're stressed. So deep breathing, otherwise known as diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing, is not typical in and out breathing. So when you breathe in, your belly goes out. When you exhale, which is breathing out, your belly goes in. So there's been some science and research done on this, and the findings are kind of mixed, but the idea is that the vagus nerve, which is a nerve that works with your autonomic nervous system that Nora was talking about, is activated during deep breathing, which helps to lower your heart rate and brings your parasympathetic nervous system, which was the rest and digest one, opposite of fight or flight, into activation. So it helps you calm down, basically.
So I'm gonna hop back in and talk about some of this. So a show of hands, or I guess I can't say show of hands, I can't see you. Who knows what your diaphragm is? It's okay if you don't.
I think a diagram is like something that shows like.
Oh, so that's a close. That's a diagram, but I see where you're going, and yes, that is
Stomach.
okay. So it's near the stomach. I'll tell you now. So your diaphragm is a muscle that is under your lungs, and it separates your lungs and your heart from your digestive tract. And when you inhale, your diaphragm contracts, and when you exhale, it relaxes. And that contraction and relaxing helps you breathe, because it helps change the pressure in your lungs that forces air in and out. And so when we say deep diaphragmatic breathing, you are always technically breathing with your diaphragm. If not, it's there. You're using it. We're talking about doing it mindfully and doing it in a big way. So when we think about it, we're really breathing in, and it's not just chest breathing where it's like only your chest is rising and falling when you breathe. It is your belly is going out when you breathe in and in when you breathe out. No. So why do we want to do this? Why are we so big on deep breathing? There's this idea that, like we talked about, you've got fight or flight, but on the other hand, you've got rest and digest. You've got that parasympathetic nervous system. And one of the things about it is that we think that, I think someone's mic is on. We think that doing deep breathing, and by we, I mean the scientific community, not just me and Emma, although we definitely think that too, that deep breathing can help us make that switch from fight or flight to rest and digest. And one of the ways that happens is by the activation of something called the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is in your diaphragm, but it also works with the lungs, it works with the heart. And so when you do all this deep breathing, the vagus nerve can get activated and it can help lower your heart rate, which, as we've said before, is one of the things that happens during stress. Your heart rate goes up. And I know that you guys, last time you all did this, had a talk from some nursing students who taught you guys how to take your pulse. So you know that when you're active, whether it's, you know, a physical stress like you've been running, or like a mental stress that affects the physical like we've been talking about, you know that when you put that effort out, you get a higher heart rate. We're talking now about how to lower it. And you can see it again in these, you can't see my pointer, can you? But you can see it in these diagrams. Are there any questions at this point? Is what I'm saying making sense?
Well, actually, I have a question.
Sure, go for it.
My question was, if you're like mentally stressed, how can that make your heart rate faster?
So mental stress, there's something called, let me back up for a second. There's something called the mind-body connection. Your mind and your body are not separate things. What goes on in your body can influence your mind, and what goes on in your mind can influence your body. So if you are mentally stressed, it will send the same signals as if you were physically stressed to that system, and you will get a stress response. Think about it like you're stressed about a test. That's a mental stress, but you still feel that same stress response. You could also, sorry, I was about to give an example that actually would not have helped anything. Does that make sense? Did I clear that up?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other questions? I'm happy to answer them.
No, ma'am.
Miss Nora, if you could maybe fast forward a little bit to the activity. This one class is
Oh,
going to have
chill.
in just a minute. So if you can,
Chill.
I just want them to have
Yeah.
an opportunity to do that because I really liked that.
100%.
Thank you.
So we're gonna, here's a slide about breathing techniques. We're actually gonna do at the end, the activity is a guided breathing meditation. So while these are really interesting to talk about, that's gonna get talked about there. One thing you might wanna look up if you have a chance is something called starfish breathing, if you don't wanna have to do a whole guided meditation. I'm sure that's something you guys might have heard of before. If not, very easily accessible information. There was a summary slide, but we're skipping it. And we're going to move on to our activity, which here we go. Can you, one second. Can you see the, okay. So we're going to do this. I want everybody to find a space where they can sit calmly and comfortably, or lie down on the floor if you're at home, if it's comfortable for you. And we're going to do a 6-minute guided deep breathing exercise. So I really like it. I hope you guys enjoy it. And we're going to ignore how I feel about all of this. That's the thing. Okay.
Belly breathing. we would like to take you on a little journey to the land of mindfulness. The land of mindfulness is a place deep inside you where you're safe and strong. A place where you can put a big smile on your mind. To go on this journey, we'd like you to lie on your back on the floor. Or you can sit cross-legged on a pillow on the floor. If you're sitting, make sure that your back is straight and that you're comfortable. Now, close or half close your eyes and then put your hands on your belly. Take 3 really big breaths. Feel your hands rise and fall with every big breath you take. As you breathe in, imagine your breath moving deep down into your belly. Good. Then let your breath return to normal. See if you can still feel your hands moving up and down with your breath. Although you're trying to pay attention to your belly rising and falling, sometimes your mind gets distracted, and this is completely normal. It happens to all of us. So, if this happens, try to bring your attention back to feeling your belly rise and fall with your breath. You're now going to count 10 of your breaths as you feel your belly rise and fall, rise and fall. So, count 1 as you breathe in, 2 as you breathe out, 3 in, 4 out, 5 in, 6 out, 7 in, 8 out, 9 in, 10 out.
This is boring.
Good. Try doing this one more time without my help. So you count 1 as you breathe in, 2 as you breathe out, and so on all the way up to 10. If you get distracted and lose count, don't worry. Just bring your attention back to your breathing and start counting again at 1. If you get to 10 and we're still going, start again at 1 and keep counting. Okay, you can stop counting now. Bring your hands to rest in your lap or on the floor beside you. Try to feel your breath move in and out of your belly without your hands there to help you.
You guys are doing such a good
going to sit
job
still
at
for
belly
a little
breathing.
while
Thank you,
in
Miss
silence.
Nora. We're gonna
Trying
unfortunately have to
feel
cut
our
it
bellies
just a
rise
minute
and
short. I know we're waiting to finish it out, but the next group is coming in the waiting room, and there's another class coming in at 11:30.
Absolutely,
Thank you
sure. Sorry,
so
we went a
much.
little long.
Thank you so much. And what we can do, Miss Quintine, is that I can, if you can send me that link, Nora, at your
Mhm.
convenience,
Mhm.
then I can forward on to Miss Quintine,
Yes,
and
we
then
would
you can
love to
forward
use that.
to the
Mhm.
kids.
They have,
Some belly breathing today.
yeah, they have a whole series of meditations like this.
This
Great.
was
So yeah,
fabulous.
happy
This
to.
was fabulous, guys. It really, really was good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was excellent.
Thank you for
And
having
kids,
us.
you can also use it to help you get to sleep if you're worried about going to sleep before a test.
You're
So
right.
thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, boys and girls.
Fantastic job, Nora and Emma.
You can log out and go back to Miss King's class, okay?
Thank you. That was great, Nora and Emma.
Thank you,
I
Emma.
wish I
Thank you,
had that for my
Nora.
daughter when she was in middle school.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Excellent.
Bye.
So I'll just stay on, right?
Yep, I'm just going to stay on as well. Bye, Milford. Bye, Giancarlos. You guys.
Milford, you asked great questions. I loved your questions. Milford, you remind me of our son.
Thank you.
I can tell you're very smart.
He is. All right, go ahead and click end because I don't want to kick you out. Then you won't be able to get back in later. So just end it for yourself, okay, bud? See you later.
Bye, Milford. He was so cute.
He is. He
He
really.
reminded me of our son. He really did.
All right.
And Dhruva's one of our students in Israel's here. Yes. Great.
All right. So our next class is coming in with Miss Pittman.
Hi, Israel. Hi, Dhruva. Great to see you today. Thank you so much for joining us. And
Hey,
thank
Mrs.
you
Allen.
again for your time yesterday to go over everything Israel.
Oh, no problem.
Great. And Dhruva, I think I've met you before.